Hi, this is our presentation on e-readers and the death of print media. I'm Lenny Scardino, and on my team is Jennifer Alexander and Kim Weatherspoon.
As technology continues to evolve, inventors look for more and more innovative ways to wow the consumer. One of the latest inventions is the e-reader. E-readers are basically portable, low-power devices specifically designed to display digital versions of written material from books, magazines, newspapers, and other printed sources. E-readers are also known as e-books for short. The first e-reader was developed in 1971 by Michael S. Hart as a part of the Gutenberg project. The purpose of this project was to digitize and archive cultural work. As a result of this project, e-readers were born. Early e-readers were used for a specific purpose and had a very limited audience. Early e-readers were basically technical manuals used in specific industries such as manufacturing and hardware. The target market for e-readers are primarily college students and travelers. E-readers are very attractive for college students because students can use them to download textbooks and also take notes in class. For travelers, the compact design and storage capacity of e-readers allow travelers to carry hundreds of books without the bulk and weight of actual printed material. A third market are consumers that love technology. Bob Lavolsi, founder of Books on Board, supports this. He believes that dedicated e-readers are for people with disposable income who love technology but not necessarily the books themselves. E-readers are very useful for many reasons. The first advantage is its portability and high storage capacity. The average book and an e-reader are close to the same size, but an e-reader has the potential to hold thousands of electronic books. Secondly, there are millions of books that are available electronically. Another advantage relates to the cost. Digital media is much less expensive than printed materials. Finally, e-readers are ecologically sound compared to printed materials. Printed books use 3 times more raw materials and 78 more times water to produce. As with anything, there are some disadvantages with e-readers. With e-readers, technology is constantly changing. For example, the formats and file types of electronic books have changed over time as new technology was introduced in the industry. This is very inconvenient for consumers if their current e-reader does not support the new technology. Another disadvantage is that e-readers are susceptible to damage, especially in extreme temperatures and weather conditions. When damage occurs, the replacement cost is very high, and this is a major disadvantage to the consumer. Because of the high cost of the initial investment in an e-reader, this also makes them targets for theft.
So, the technology behind e-readers. Basically, e-readers come in 2 different types of screens using e-ink or LCD. Although there is another, we'll talk about that a little bit later. There are many different companies offering e-readers right now, 8 or more in the US and dozens worldwide. As a matter of fact, every day we see somebody introducing a new e-reader to the market. So, who are the major players? First is Sony's Reader, which was basically the first viable e-reader to the market. It's got a pretty high market share and does use e-ink. It has a relatively small digital bookstore, but it does support the EPUB standard, which gives you access to Google Books and thousands upon thousands of additional titles. Next is the market leader from Amazon as the Kindle. It too is an e-ink reader, just like the Sony Reader. But it actually has the largest digital bookstore right now with over 480,000 titles. It does have a proprietary file format, meaning that its files are not usable on any other e-reader, and it doesn't support the EPUB. However, it does have a 3G data connection called WhisperNet that allows you to download books or other media anytime and anywhere. Finally is the Apple iPad. Now this is very recent to market, but it's really shaking things up. It has a pretty large digital bookstore, though not as large as Amazon's. It does use LCD versus the e-ink on the screen, but it has a multi-touch interface and a very vast library of applications, including applications both for Amazon and Barnes & Noble's bookstores. Also has the largest internal storage and a pay-per-use 3G service for downloading anything and everything. Now there are many others e-readers on the market, as mentioned before, including Barnes & Noble's Nook, the Notion Ink Atom, Dell's Mini 5, and a number of others. Really, these are no great threat except possibly the Nook, but they do offer a low price alternative. So that brings us to how they work. We're not going to get into LCD, as that's a fairly traditional screen type out there. But as far as e-ink, it's a fairly recent technology. It, again, just like LCD, is a screen made up of hundreds of thousands of dots or pixels. But each of these dots are actually microscopic capsules of a clear liquid. And inside these capsules are positive white particles and negatively charged black particles. And as a charge is applied, that causes one or the other to rise or fall. Now, as the particles rise to the top, they actually become visible, and when they fall to the bottom, they're hidden. Since the charge can be applied to portions of the capsule, it actually allows for different degrees of white and black. This gives you multiple shades of gray, so that you can have a bright white all the way down to a dark black. Which leads us to the e-ink's benefits. The screen is actually, if you will, printed, and that means that there's no power consumption to keep the image actually on the screen. And that image will remain there until the screen is erased. Now, one of the advantages to e-ink is that it actually can be applied to a number of different mediums. Glass and plastic are traditional, and even possibly paper. Now, one of the best benefits is that since there's no backlight on e-ink, it actually allows for significantly less eye strain. It's very similar to actually reading a piece of paper.